if you don't mind, I'm going to ask Rodney Little to join me here. Rodney, there he is. Come on. He's helped on this legislation as well. I want to first thank for the opportunity to present House Bill 78. This legislation is born out of a Republican-led bipartisan initiative dating way back on March the 2nd, 1969. Then President Richard Nixon issued Executive Order 11458, establishing the Office of Minority Business.
I didn't come in here that much then because I really.
Okay. On October 13th, 1971, President Nixon issued Executive Order 11625, which clarified the authority of the Office of Minority Business Enterprise. In 1979, it was a renaming that established the Minority Business Development Agency, and that continues to this day at the federal level. Several years ago, under Governor Nathan Deal, the Georgia Department of Transportation, working with the aforementioned federal agency, had legislation passed that established a process and a review system to ensure that equity and diversity in the issuance of state contracts as related to the Department of Transportation became law. House Bill 78, simply what it does, it takes the bipartisan legislation that took place in the Department of Transportation and expands it to all state departments. Georgia has about 159 counties, well, has 159 counties, and about 70 plus of those counties need economic development, and that's part of what this is about. Any initiative that increases business growth, increases job opportunities, new personal income and local government income opportunities is a win-win for everybody. And I'm hoping that this committee will support this opportunity for us to be able to expand business in the state and continue to be known as the state that everybody wants to do business with, the #1 state in the country to do business in. In short, what this bill does, it establishes an Office of Supplier Diversity, increases the number of companies doing business with the state, calls for a disparity study to pinpoint the opportunities to improve the diversity and state contracts and how we distribute the state dollars. Any overall improvement for economic development, economic growth across this state makes this a good piece of legislation for all of us to deal with. I'm gonna stop talking because I want to give the people that have come to speak. And I want to show you the enthusiasm. You know, I was notified of this meeting on Friday after business hours. And the people that are here, they really want to talk about this because we contacted them over the weekend and they've done everything they could to be here to share their thoughts on it. So with that.
You'd like to, so if you, whichever is easier, yeah, if you would like to go on the second chair, we can just rotate the mic to you.
Okay, thank you.
First, I'd just like to ask all those folks who came to support HB 78, just please raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you to the chair of the House Governmental Affairs Committee and staff for granting a committee hearing on House Bill 78. That was originally filed in 2021 by State Representative Roger Bruce of House District 61, along with his other colleagues. My name is Rodney James Littles. I am a small minority business owner practicing management and financial consulting to firms large and small, assisting them with their real estate and business development projects. I live in the city of South Fulton. I started my career with David J. Burgos and Associates, who was a consulting firm that had contracts with the U.S. Department of Commerce's Minority Business Development Agency. Burgos was awarded contracts in New England, the Mid-Atlantic, and Midwestern states to provide management and financial consulting services to businesses owned by people of color. I have firsthand knowledge of what a positive economic impact a successful business development program can have on a distressed community. Since those days, I have established my own firm, R.J. Littles and Associates, and we provide professional business development consulting services to women-owned businesses, Hispanic, Asian, African-American, and other disadvantaged-owned businesses. Our firm over the years has raised over $100 million in loans and equity for clients that were startups as well as established businesses in sectors such as manufacturing, transportation, service, retail, real estate, energy, and technology. I support the passing into,
Well, no, your mic did not get muted. I think it was just a technical error. I want to bring to the attention of the speaker and to the author, we have 4 bills and we have 1 hour of time. So I know you have prepared remarks. So I'd encourage you to, depending on how many folks you'd like to get to hear speak, because we're going to limit it to a certain point.
I'm wrapping up.
Yeah, no worries. And you can, of course, submit the written testimony as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I support passing the law, HB 78, the Georgia Economic Growth Act. This act will codify the current Georgia State MBE program, including the GDOT program for all state agencies, institutions, and authorities. The bill sets the groundwork for successful supply diversity program to be developed using the best practices from corporate America right here in Georgia. Part of the bill creates a staff in the new Office of Supply Diversity in the General Services Administration to contract for a disparity study, which is an evaluation of procurement and contracting practices of state agencies. The study will determine the availability of diverse and women-owned businesses by industry to perform as a contractor or subcontractor to the state's procurement process for goods and services. If you want to get a study that was done by the Harvard Business Review, that would be very helpful. It was titled, "Why Do You Need a Supply Diversity Program?" by Alexis Bateman, Ashley Barrington, and Katie Date. And I will cut my comments further other than to say that we would really appreciate your strong consideration for the bill. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to committee members. I'm going to let you know by the show of hands that you asked for. It's reflective on the amount of folks who want to speak on this bill. So we're going to limit. We have 1 hour and 4 bills. We're going to limit comments to 1 minute apiece. And I'd ask the committee members if you have questions or clarifications to also be succinct so we can hear all 4 bills. With that, I'm going to open it up to committee members first. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Bruce, does this looks like it's forming another department? Do we need a fiscal note on this?
It's an office within a department that already exists.
It's an office, what?
It would be in a department that already exists.
Okay, so it's going to be, will there be additional staff, additional expenses incurred?
A limited amount, but it would be, the department would be budgeted and this would be part of the budget for that department that already exists.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, Representative Maynard.
Thank you, Chair. Representative Bruce, thank you for bringing the bill to this committee. It definitely is needed. We know that. I do like that it will create this disparity study once initially, and then by reading the bill, it says every 2 years. I also like the fact that, when people think about MBEs, sometimes they forget that women are part of that category. So not only does this help minority-owned business owners, but it also helps women-owned business owners, no matter what your racial demographic is. I do want to also bring to just the committee's attention to lines 328 and 329. And it says provide for joint ventures, which a bidder may count toward meeting participation by minority and women-owned business enterprises. That actually is really important because it says that even if it's a non-minority business doing business, they can still qualify for this because they are partnering with a minority, either from race or gender. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes questions from the committee. I have a quick question, and it's probably, I'm asking it because it's probably language utilized in other models, but line 50, at least 70% owned by one or more minority groups. Is that 70%, is that a common number? 70% of the business is owned by one of the listed groups?
We listed that in part because there are some companies, we saw in prior situations where the company was not really owned by a minority. And so we said 70 as a measure to make sure that it was in fact a minority-owned company. But that's not a deal breaker. If we need to change that, we can talk about that.
Just a point of interest, but thank you. We're going to go ahead with members of the public who have signed up to speak. We're going to do this by those in the room first, and I'd ask again to be as succinct as possible. We are limiting it to 1 minute. With that, Miss Nancy Johnson. Where's the podium? Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to kind of build on Representative Bruce's comment. So over the years, we know that establishing minority business enterprise programming has boosted the nation's economy, starting with President Richard Nixon. There are at least 38 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, that currently operate minority business programs. So there's a lot there that we can learn from, and we can build a really strong program. But also the private sector has also demonstrated a long-standing understanding of the economic impact. In fact, 12 of the top 15 supplier diversity programs at Fortune 500 firms, according to Diversity Inc., are companies that are based or here in Georgia, AT&T, Southern Company, Cox, et cetera. So in closing, Governor Kemp, why do I do that? Governor Kemp has often said he wants to make this state the best, not only for big business, but small business. We want to be sure women and minority-owned businesses are included in the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Donna Ennis, and then after Miss Grace Fricks. And if I butcher your name, please correct me. I'm used to that up here.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am the Director of Diversity Engagement and Program Development at Georgia Tech's Enterprise Innovation Institute. And in my role, I oversee the Georgia Tech Procurement Assistance Center, or GTPAC, as well as I'm the Director of the Georgia Minority Business Development Agency, or MBDA Business Center. And as mentioned before, MBDA was established by the then Richard Nixon in 1968. It is the only federal agency focused solely on growing, strengthening, and advocating for minority businesses. So through MBDA and our Georgia MBDA Business Center, we see and experience firsthand the positive impact that supplier diversity programs have on assuring that minority-owned companies not only gain access to contracting opportunities, but that they gain equitable access to these opportunities. So really quickly, between 2016 and 2021, our Georgia MBDA Business Center helped MBEs secure $6 billion in contracts and finance and close to 6,000 jobs right here in Georgia. Many of these contracts were gained through government and supplier diversity programs that provided the opportunities for our businesses to compete. These tools are powerful and play a significant role in contributing to the economic strength of Georgia. They open doors to opportunities, large and small, that drive revenue, create jobs, and ultimately build wealth. So since Georgia is consistently named one of the best states for businesses large and small, we want Georgia to be known as the best state for minority and women-owned businesses. HB 78 will be the catalyst for helping us to do that. Thank you.